so should you be. Do you understand what I'm saying? What Simon offered was the same thing. He just offered what he knew to get what of things that are of God. Do you understand? The natural, vulgar, sinful, worldly ways that he had acquired, he thought he could use for the gospel. And that is why he said, your heart is not right with God. How many of us move along the same way? When you have to minister here, I tell you, you need to pray. You come here, you don't pray. What are you doing? You're doing with your strength. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's go to Romans 8. Romans 8, 5 to 8. Can you read that, please? All right, that's fine. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. There's nothing of the flesh that can glorify God. So don't think you can bring glory to God by doing something that's foundation is in the flesh. God will not receive it. No way. Do you understand that? It is an abomination before God. There's nothing wrong with money. Paul, in fact, says, you guys, he's writing to the churches saying, collect all your money so we can give to other people. No? Do you understand what I'm saying? But his heart, Simon's heart, was not right with God. You get what I'm going with this? Why? Because he was still in the world. He had not understood the things of the Spirit. We understood in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 15 to 18, somewhere around there, that, the Spirit man only understands the things of the Spirit. The flesh man cannot understand or comprehend that. Why? Because it's still in the world. You still try to calculate everything from this. Do you understand? It's like Steve's father. He came in here, got healed, started walking home. And one of his relatives said, oh, didn't the doctor say after 2 years he'll walk again? They can't comprehend a miracle has happened. They're saying, well, there's no miracle. Doctor said after 2 years or something. Didn't he say something like that? Yes? No, there was a miracle here. Do you understand what I'm saying? The carnal man cannot understand that. When Prem went and prayed for that boy with cancer, the Lord healed his leg. But his mother and his brother could not accept that miracle and went ahead and amputated that leg anyway. And I told him, this will kill the boy. Because he'll come back. The boy is dead now. Do you understand? Things of the spiritual operate on a different principle. When you understand that, what happened there? Okay. The things of the spiritual, look at me now. When you understand God's ways, when you get close to Him, He will reveal. But when He reveals, He's not revealing little secrets. He will reveal of Himself. The more you know of Him, the more you understand, because the whole being of the universe is in His being. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so when you understand how that works, when you understand the principles of the spiritual, which supersedes the natural, and you apply that every time, you get result on earth. And we call it a miracle. Do you understand that? But this says, you cannot do that if you're with the world. Let's go to 1 John 2, 15 to 17. That's fine, that's fine. Do not love the world. Why not? Because if you love the world, the love of the Father, when you say you love, what is the sign you draw for love? Where is your heart? When you give your heart to something or someone, that is whom you serve also. You want to see an example of that? You just go to the colleges when some guy meets a girl whom he has never met before, met half an hour before in class, now he's totally in love with her. And he has forgotten his father, his mother, his sister, his dog, and even his lunch. Are you smiling? Do you understand? That's where your heart is, because that then becomes your master. I'm using an extreme example to show the very subtlety of the deceit in our own hearts. Because the Bible, Jesus himself tells us that we can only serve one master. Let's go to Matthew 6:24. So he's talking specifically about God and mammon. Mammon is a world and the system, and the system it operates, which includes money. What does he say about it? You'll be devoted to one and you will despise the other. Listen to those words again. Devoted to one and despise the other. What do you think Simon's heart was devoted to? What does Peter address? First, Romans 8:20. So he's talking about what? Money. So what do you think Simon's heart was devoted to? Money. And because of that, who do you think? So that was what Simon was devoted to. So what did he despise? So you'll be devoted to one, and you will despise the other. No? What is the other that he despised? Continue to read verse 23. He was poisoned by bitterness, bound by iniquity. To have bitterness means something is so despicable to you, isn't it? It is so much. You despise it so much that it causes such a wound that it is hurting you, isn't it? What is the problem with that? Hebrews 12:14 and 15. Go there. We're looking at what he despised, okay? Listen very carefully. Now, Hebrews 12:14 and 15, what does it say? Pursue peace with all men and holiness, without which you will not see whom? God. And then what does it say? Continue to say. Right. Now it's saying, be careful. The writer of the Hebrews is saying, be careful. Pursue peace with all men and holiness. Don't allow yourself to get defiled by bitterness. Right? You get that much? Because what happens then? You will not see whom? You will not see God. That in itself is a good talk to give about forgiveness and setting your heart right. Do you understand? But what is the address to? What is the context? What is the author specifically addressing? What is he warning? When this happens, don't get bitter. Don't isolate yourself. What is he talking about? Read Hebrews chapter 12, same chapter, verses 7 to 11. If you endure chastening, that means what? Correction. If you endure correction, go on. So look at me. That's in verse 7 to 11, isn't it? And then it goes on, 12, saying what? That hang down and it goes down is that's right. Go again, next verse. Exactly, enough. So now you see the flow. The context is correction. The Lord is correcting you as a father corrects his children. Do you understand? So what is the writer's advice? Strengthen yourself. Don't allow bitterness to take root, because then you will get defiled and you won't see God. So what was the thing that Simon despised? Correction. And that is why his heart was full of bitterness and there was iniquity. You see the connection? Peter is saying, look, man, don't allow this correction to cause bitterness in your heart, because I already see it's there. You see what's happening? By Simon's response, I have hope for him. Because he suddenly realized he was operating in the wrong boat. He comes to the right boat and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, don't let any of those things you happen. You said come to me." Because he doesn't even know the terminology. Do you understand? Look at what he says. He says, "Don't let any of those things you said come on me." That's what he's saying, isn't it? Here's a man who is just going blindly, doing what he wants. Somehow he came upon some power. He thinks he's a great man. He had no problem with showing off. And suddenly he realized something. And then he realized he screwed up. And he's like, "Oh Lord." But his heart was not correct. And that's the problem here. Why do you need correction? Why do you need correction? Because your heart is not correct, isn't it? That's why you're all going through correction. And if you endure chastening in correction, God,
No turning back.